The aim is to add more than 40 pounds of muscle for the next movie.
Each meal is about 1,000 calories.
Ice cream, big juicy steaks,
Straight in there.
burgers, pad thai, pasta, ribs, sausage rolls, pizza, cake.
So that's what I've been doing wrong. Hey folks, Cam here helping you to stay fit, and today we're going to be looking at clips from the new show Limitless featuring Chris Hemsworth because it unintentionally gave a lot of insight into the type of training and eating that went into Chris's most recent transformation for Thor: Love and Thunder. So first we're going to establish the timeline of how Chris was trying to gain over 40 pounds of muscle in what seems to be the 3 months prior to filming the movie, and then get into the training and diet.
So, over the next year, I'm taking on 6 extraordinary challenges. Pushing myself to the very limit.
So based on what Chris said, this show Limitless takes place over a 1-year span. And I don't think these episodes are in chronological order because we're going to be looking mostly at episode 4, where Chris is the biggest leading into the Thor movie and he looks smaller in all the other episodes. I think they were probably trying to finish the show before the Thor filming started because this rope climbing challenge was supposed to be completed prior to that.
How long before Thor filming?
5 months, I think, yeah.
I would love to do this in 3.
3 months of training. But I'm going to be heavy.
How big? How heavy?
I don't know. Heavier than I am now.
However, Chris got injured a week out and had to push the challenge until after he finished filming. Plus, you see people in the background wearing masks toward the end of this episode, whereas you don't really see that during any of the other episodes, so I'm thinking they were probably mostly filmed before COVID was in full swing. So we start out the episode 5 months prior to filming Thor, with his trainer wanting to do the challenge 2 months prior to the filming starting because Chris is planning to get a lot heavier. Then we move to 4 weeks out from the climb, which puts us at 3 months out from filming.
As well as rope climb, I'm also building up for Thor.
Some rice.
The aim is to add more than 40 pounds of muscle for the next movie.
Ooh, buffalo.
So yeah, that's all for me.
So he wants to put on more than 40 pounds of muscle in 3 months. That's over 3 pounds of muscle a week. Now the main thing they don't talk about, of course, are these supplements he is taking. And I'm not talking about creatine here because I can tell you right now, even if you are on PEDs, you're not gonna put on that type of size in that amount of time. Now, he may have put on 40 pounds, but there was no way that that was all pure muscle. It's just not possible. But you'll be lucky as a newbie to put on 10 to 12 pounds of muscle naturally in a year of consistent, tracked, progressive overload training. A couple years ago, I put on about 10 pounds of muscle in a year of training, a 3-day split to failure 6 to 7 times per week. In the following year, I only did maybe 7 to 8 pounds of muscle. And when I put on that next 7 to 8 pounds of muscle, I put on a total of about 12 pounds. And you can see I added extra fat along with the muscle, whereas Chris seems to be gaining muscle while losing fat at the same time for the role. So let me know down in the comments what you think a realistic amount of muscle to build in a year is, because I'm interested to see how many of you actually buy into these Hollywood claims. But the longer you go at bodybuilding or building muscle, however you want to put it, the slower that muscle builds. And Chris has been at this for over a decade.
Playing action roles like Thor means that I've spent a decade maintaining superhero type muscles.
So you don't just magically add a lifetime of muscle gains in 3 months, even if you are taking PEDs. Now, to be fair, Chris never did any kind of weigh-in the beginning or end to show that he actually gained 40 pounds. He just said that's what his goal was.
I'm currently tipping the scales at more than 230 pounds. And it's a full-time job just to maintain it.
He was 230 pounds during filming, and body weight is something you can easily manipulate to make it sound more impressive. And I actually have a video linked below showing how I was able to manipulate my body and the scale by up to 15 pounds in under a week. So if you're interested, check that out after this video. But during the Limitless show, he did a 4-day fast, and when you go that long without eating, you can easily drop between 5 to 10 pounds, depending on how big you are, from losing fat, water, glycogen, and muscle. And then he could weigh himself at the end of that 4-day fast for his starting weight. Then once he was at top shape for Thor, weigh himself at the end of a day, fully hydrated and carbing up for a peak week, which can easily add 5 to 10 more pounds. That way the scale shows a 40-pound difference, but it was really only a 20-pound gain of muscle, which would still be very impressive in that amount of time. But we also get a little bit more insight in the Disney Plus behind the scenes of the Thor: Love and Thunder movie.
Each time I've played the character and put the muscle on or put the size on and then lost it for something else and played another character, you know, there's muscle memory, and I used to say it sort of got easier each time. This was particularly hard. I think because the sort of target weight we aimed for was quite a ways above where I'd been before.
It's interesting how he phrased that with putting the size on and then losing it, because there are a couple of ways to lose size. One is that you just quit training like we see most actors do who have crazy transformations and then gain a lot of weight after the filming's over. But I don't really see that from Chris because he seems to keep a pretty lean physique, around 10 to 12% body fat. So the other way that you lose size is to be above your genetic limit from taking PEDs and then you stop taking those supplements. You can continue training all you want, but your body can't support that extra size naturally and you start losing it no matter how hard you train. And speaking of training, how did he work out to get jacked?
Over the years, training for different roles, and for Thor in particular, it was about getting big and mass. I do shoulders one day, arms another, back, chest, legs.
So basically it sounds like a bro split, with splitting up the body and hitting every body part once a week, which isn't really optimal for muscle building. From the research I've seen, hitting all the muscle groups twice per week, 10 to 20 sets total for the week, is ideal for muscle hypertrophy. And I mean working sets, not your warm-ups, but the actual hard sets where you're pushing yourself at or near failure. And he said he worked his legs, but his legs never really looked that big in any of the shots I saw on the show. When he was 2 months out from filming Thor and got hurt, you see a shot from the side and the quads and hamstrings don't have much size at all. And in a later episode where you can see his whole legs, the quads don't show proportional size compared to his upper body. A pump does make a big difference, but we never really see any shots of him training his legs, so who knows? Maybe he has a men's physique coach training him. But this is where it can get a bit confusing, because in that Thor behind the scenes, he said,
We had, 12 months where I was sort of at home just training and sort of, puppeteering, the body and manipulating.
I'm more inclined to think that that 40-pound weight gain was started a year prior to filming, and he was just mentioning at that 3-month out point that his goal is to put on over 40 pounds of muscle. But there is a noticeable size difference from that 5-month out point to when he was filming in Thor. And he said he was going to be a lot heavier at the 5-month out point, so who knows? It's really all just speculation based on the information that they're giving us in the show. But I thought it was weird a year ago when clips started coming out of him working out, where they were showing him doing stuff like pulling ropes or pushing tires, bear crawling around without any real weightlifting going on. Because that stuff is challenging and definitely helps with conditioning, but you have to move some heavy weight to put on the size that he had. And after seeing this episode, it makes a lot more sense because he was training for this rope climbing challenge while also building up for the Thor filming. And we do get some shots of him doing more traditional weightlifting movements for building up that muscle size, although we only ever really see upper body movements being done. But if you're looking to build muscle optimally, then avoid the bro splits and instead check out my legs and push-pull workouts I did, all linked in the description. It's all free, just videos I've done on YouTube showing what I did, and that helped me to put on over 10 pounds of muscle naturally over the course of a year. It really just takes consistency with your diet and progressively overloading your workouts to build the physique that you want. And when it comes to his diet, he described eating what amounts to a dirty bulk, with burgers, pizza, ice cream, and so on. People hear this and probably think, that's crazy, there's no way you can get into shape with him by eating like that. But what most people fail to realize is that it is calories in versus calories out when it comes down to gaining, losing, or maintaining your body weight. If you have a hard time adding weight, then eating those higher calorie foods will help you to bulk, because otherwise you'd have to eat so much chicken and healthier foods that you're too stuffed and you feel sick all the time. It's a delicate balance though, because you have to remember that Chris is not putting on this size naturally. You can't expect to put on a pound or more a week without gaining extra fat, because building muscle is an extremely slow process, and it gets slower the longer you go on. But if you keep within whatever calorie limit is set for your diet plan, you can literally eat any type of food you want. However, that doesn't mean that it's optimal for your health or muscle building goals. You want to shoot for 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight if you're trying to build muscle, or if you're trying to maintain as much muscle as possible during a cut. And what you eat will affect the look of your body when you get into the end stages of prepping for something like a photo shoot, or in Chris's case, a shirtless movie scene. I have a lot of videos on the channel showing dieting tips with choosing lower calorie options with higher protein at fast food places, so that you don't have any excuses toward reaching your physique goals. And I also have videos going through the process of a peak week to see how much what you eat and drink can manipulate the way you look in just a few days for a photo shoot. And of course, there's the question of whether that 40 pounds that he supposedly put on was even real, or if that was just made to look like 40 pounds through the use of CGI. I have a separate video showing examples of what Chris looked like in the behind the scenes footage compared to the final film, which can be telling of how much superhero characters' bodies are manipulated in editing to help achieve the desired look for the film. And I find it a bit ironic that this whole Limitless series is about longevity and trying to improve your health to live as long as possible, while at the same time he's likely blasting PDs that are damaging his heart, his liver, in order to put on a supposed 40 pounds of muscle or more. I mean, just because you're doing one wrong thing, that doesn't necessarily mean you can't try to optimize or fix other parts of your life, but it is a bit ironic there. But I hope this was as insightful as it was for you watching this Limitless series. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Camber Fitness, put more daily content there. But good luck on your fitness journey, set realistic goals, and I'll see you soon.